So take charge.
I guess so.
We're at a work session first anyway.
Yes.
I totally forgot.
No excuse.
Right, and
Right.
we are
Like we
live.
almost didn't have a forum because I.
I missed the grandson's first baseball game.
It's a beautiful day for it.
Okay, it is 5:31 and we have a quorum, but we are doing this on the phone. So let's go ahead and start this work session. It is regarding the 2027 budget process, board of directors goal, and then we'll follow that up with a regular session. So, Shauna, are we turning to you towards the
Yes.
budget discussion?
I just realized I forgot to print the board and director goals. So she's gonna print them really quick. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Going out
Yeah.
of
I'm reading it off and I was like,
Oh, okay.
all right, so I have 3 budgets to present. I highlighted kind of how I identify the differences between the 3 budgets at the top. So there is a 2027 projected budget. It's what we're calling a 2% step, which is something our teachers really want to see is that they have step increases each year.
Right.
And then a 2% COLA would be the other side of that. So in total, it's a 4% wage increase, okay? The next one is a 2% step with a 3% COLA and a 2% step with a 4% COLA. So I determined this by looking at what kind of Fern Ridge is doing and other neighboring schools. We are still a little under kind of what they do for a step increase and a COLA increase, but we're looking at wages and trying to stay competitive as far as our teacher wages go. So this was the recommendation, okay?
So can I stop you there though real
Yes,
quick?
sir. Mhm.
So currently, the charter school does not have a STEP program laid out for
In
all its
place.
employees.
Because we don't have one because we are not we don't negotiate with a union. So we don't have to have something in place, and every year teachers sign a 1-year contract. So every year we're basically coming up with a budget and presenting it, but we don't have anything in step to show them this is what you would make next year, this is what you make the following year. Because
Here's what the step would be, and there's still consideration for the
Yeah.
COLA.
correct.
So if the board adopts what you're laying out here, then there will be a step schedule for every employee.
We would like to keep a step schedule ideally every year as a 2% step. Now, with the union, you negotiate it for every 3 years, so it's a tough kind of position to be in because we technically could change it every year. We're just trying to give the teachers some consistency as far as what they can expect. So we're not projecting 3 years down the road, we're projecting for next year. And then ideally, we would say, we're gonna do a 2% step again and then present the different COLAs. We're trying to keep it consistent year after year, I guess. But as far as like presenting a 3-year like contract with the teachers, we don't do that. So if that makes sense, we could change it every year. We do change it every year. So we're trying to give them some consistency by saying we want to do a 2% every year. But we're saying, we're basically splitting out and say we're doing a 2% step and then the COLA would change every year potentially. So, but next year, if you guys said we don't want you to do a 2% step, we just want you to do, or even this year, if you said I just want you to do a blank percentage, we can do that too. So we're not bound by any contract, so it makes it tough, I guess.
So the city was also not a
Mhm.
union shop, but we had a step schedule.
Yep.
And then based on your years of service and what your job was,
Mhm.
this year, you know, employee 1 was at step 2.
Mhm.
He could expect to go to step 3. So will we actually have a visual step schedule? Or are you just thinking it's gonna be,
I
here's a
created,
step every year,
yeah.
it's 2%?
I spent a lot of time creating a visual step schedule last year, trying to make it to where our teachers' wages fell into that schedule, and I got it pretty close.
Okay.
So ideally, if we do this, then I would create something along those, or I would plug those into what we have and create something along those lines, because it would make the hiring process a lot easier too. Right now, when we hire somebody, we place them on, basically, we look at Fern Ridge's step schedule, but then we don't graduate each year with their step schedule. We're just making these percentages every year, saying, oh, it's 3% this year, 5% next year, you know, or however we're looking at that. So I have one created. I don't have one to present because,
Could we hear from the two folks that work at the school district on how that step thing looks?
Yeah, in some districts, it's a step every year.
Just an automatic.
Yeah,
You move from
yeah,
two to
automatically, you
Up
can,
to usually like
15.
15, whatever.
and then I've also worked in districts where you didn't go, it was like 2 years. So like steps weren't necessarily every year.
Mhm.
So I've seen both. But it is pretty standard in education, so just have that step increase.
And every 3 years they negotiate.
And every 3 years, they renegotiate their contract, which does change the steps and what COLA is then, added.
So the benefit though, if you are hiring somebody and let's say
we could pull out our own.
Nicole's, based on her salary is X, Y, Z, and then Nicole leaves, and hire a new person, said, well,
We would
this
look
is
at
where-
their, yeah.
yeah, here's where Nicole left, here's what you could expect, at least with steps for the coming future.
And staff sort of brought it up last year because they're like, we don't get a step, we get a percentage, but then it's kind of hard to know where we're gonna end up. Where unions, they get that 3 years, so that at least they have a 3-year kind of idea of where they're headed. COLA can always change, but the step is pretty concrete.
And Mapleton does like 5 years. That's
Yes.
their step. And it starts out higher than a lot of
That's where I
schools
started.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
it starts out higher where a lot of, but it doesn't, once you're at 5 years, that's it. Or I don't know if they do
You
some
top
sort
out
of a
at 5
stipend
years,
Which
after
is
every
not
year.
common.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, I'll just look at Mapleton's. And then I was like, whoa, their starting wage is actually pretty high. Because they have it split out to like bachelor's plus X number of credits and then the masters and.
Fern Ridges is like that.
Yeah, and Fern Ridge has a lot of like bachelor's plus,
Yeah.
and then it gets masters. Some schools only have like a bachelor's plus 15, and then a master's, and then a master's plus 15. So every school is a little bit different. We spent a lot of time last year looking at step programs, but it was brought up right before we were about to present our budget, so we didn't, like, beyond me creating a step schedule, we didn't really pull the trigger on that because it was too quick.
And also just to be, there's so much time and work that goes into creating that, and we are so little, like, is it worth it for Shauna to go through and do that on a regular basis, or do this sort of, it's a 2% step, or a 1.5, or a 3, or whatever, that step, you're just automatically gonna get it up to however many years, and then that, eventually that has to stop, you can't just keep building on it.
So we were talking about capping the steps at 15 years. And then,
So that information would only be in that person's personnel file,
Right.
it would be laid out.
correct. Yeah. But then we thought, well, maybe then if they're still here, we want to obviously honor those people that have been here after 15 years, like,
Right.
then they would get a stipend each year based off of,
Or some organizations call it, you get a longevity.
longevity
Yeah.
stipends, yeah. So that's how we're wording the budget, and then I hope to like plug in these numbers into a step and try to, it's tough because we want to be competitive with Fern Ridge just because they're the closest school to compare to. But we also have lots of less student numbers, and so we have to keep that in mind when we're considering what we're willing to pay or what we can. So.
Yeah, and it seems like I'm taking this, not down a rabbit hole, but maybe not.
No, yeah, it's all stuff that we've
So why
gone
don't we,
down
I
the
mean,
rabbit
the
hole.
budget is strong enough, is there an HR firm that we could contract out to develop this whole step program as opposed to? you
They're
taking
fairly
it?
easy. I have an Excel spreadsheet with the percentages all laid out, so you have to just figure out what your base starting wage would be with just a bachelor's, and then it would calculate it, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So the big thing I was trying to do is like, okay, where do our teachers fall into the step schedule? Does it match the years of service, right?
Right.
And then that would make it easier, but we have some teachers that just weren't falling into the right years, like some maybe a little high, some were kind of low. And so it just is gonna take a little more work to try to get that figured out, but so
Sounds like you're partway there.
I am partway
Yes,
there.
Yes,
Um,
in the last 2 years, we've done a lot of work to
A lot
try
of
to get
research, it
that.
sounds like,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm part of a charter school group that like shares wages. So, where it gets kind of fuzzy is like Andrea and I, like we have multiple job duties that don't always fit into those categories. And so trying to figure that out. You know, I haven't even created a step schedule for like, I guess what we would call confidential employees. But we're getting there. We're working towards it.
So when you are presenting this budget, that 2%, is that for your certified staff? I know there's not a lot of classified staff
for
here, but
all
it's for
staff.
everybody.
Yes.
Gotcha, okay,
Yep. All staff.
gotcha.
And what's a reasonable cost of living increase?
So the district is doing 4% this year.
They are doing 4%? Wow.
And and every employee gets a step increase.
And, and the cost.
And then the COLA.
And even an employee that's like on a probationary status or
Do you know, Ryan?
I think so. I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything in the contract that would differentiate.
It would just be whether or not their contract renews.
Yeah, it's just, that's the
That's
renewal
right.
process of
That's
how that works.
Yeah.
But.
So
yeah,
they
and I know that-
negotiate that as a probationary employee, they would negotiate like you guys did with Tony, where, you know, this is where we're putting you, this is how many years of service we're giving you for the teaching that you've done. And then if their contract is renewed and they're no longer probationary, then they would just continue with that step schedule.
And is the cost of living increase, is that adjustable per year?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we were to
Technically,
go,
all of this is adjustable per year, we're just trying to
yeah,
get onto a step schedule of some sort.
But if we say, let's do the 2% step,
Mhm.
are you going to develop a policy that's part of the budget every year?
I would like to follow some sort of whether it be a policy or some sort of,
I don't know if you call it
I don't know if you call it a policy.
policy. I don't know what you call it, but yes,
Because
that's
it's
the
not in a
idea of
policy.
it. It's just,
It's not under policy with, like Fern Ridge, it's not a policy, it's a contract with the union. And so it's weird to make it a policy, but maybe we would have some sort of I don't know what we would call it, some sort of a hiring guidelines or hiring
Yeah,
process
where
that would
it's
be included
a
in
little
that.
more just where you could, if an employee asked, this is what the
Yeah.
practice has been and this is what we're following, unless it's a rough budget year and we have to do something different.
Yeah.
That 2% step would be guaranteed, basically.
I mean, there's always the potential to freeze that stuff as
Always.
well, right? Like, I mean.
Even in a union.
Yeah, no, for
contract,
sure, like
so-
that happens
yeah.
all the time, and budgets don't look good.
Right.
You
You're
freeze
saying
it,
the COLA freezes.
No,
Even
everything.
the step.
Everything.
Even
everything
step.
freezes.
Yep.
I mean, it has to be voted on, it has to be agreed upon, but I have worked in schools at times when budgets were bad.
Oh, yeah.
08 was pretty
wait.
rough, and everything just froze. Like, we're gonna freeze the salary schedule as it is, so you didn't get any increase the next year.
Why do you think Fern Ridge is doing 4% COLA when the CPI's been running 2.6, 2.8?
It was negotiated when they negotiated their contract, so I don't know, is that one more year or?
Yeah, so 27, I think, is when, so
So-
next spring,
When they negotiated it, they did it for 3 years. I think it was 3.5, 4, and
it
3.5.
graduated it went,
Oh, and 4.5.
it went
Damn.
up and then down.
I mean, 2 years ago, if they were negotiating, the
Yeah,
cost of living was 7% at that
Right,
time,
right.
so.
yeah, and the classified staff, like, they just extended their contract because their COLA was set already, and to renegotiate right now in this budget situation, like, may not have been advantageous, so they extended 1 year.
And I know as their like COLA goes down, like they were contributing more towards insurance, I believe is what I read in the union contract. So like they were paying less COLA, but they were contributing a little more, this part of their.
Well, that's probably a good question. So we have a compensation package,
Mhm.
and what are we seeing for the employees' insurance to be going up maybe next year?
We didn't put anything in there for that for next year.
Last year it went up, I believe, $66 out of pocket. It's hard to, it's
That's
a
per
bump
month?
per
A
month.
month, yeah.
So we pay a pretty big portion of that. And I think it was like a total of $260 out of pocket for full insurance. That's included dental, vision, and health. We negotiate we don't even negotiate our insurance. OEBB tells us what our rate is
You
in
guys
August,
negotiate.
and we have to sign up
Yeah.
in September. So it doesn't align with negotiating weight. It's just a tough,
So then there's no way that they can give you heads up going into the
No.
budget process?
Nope,
it's
we
all on
asked.
all on their schedule, unfortunately. But if we do see a huge increase in the fall, then maybe that's something that we look at next year, is we do less of a COLA but more of an insurance increase. But if we maintain a 2% step and then we can play with that COLA number, would be ideal. We could copy something like for, we do less of a COLA but more of an insurance pay, or however we want to look at that.
Has there been a trend with insurance?
I've only been here for a year, so.
It's going up.
It's
It's
going
right
up.
at $60 right now.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's
I
definitely
know.
going up.
I was on the district committee and we negotiated with, we were talking to 3 different companies.
Mhm.
And we will go through WHA, I think is.
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't do OEB.
We do not do OEBB. We're on Pacific Source, but the projection is, it's gonna get unsustainable at some point because costs are rising so quickly in that sector, so.
Mhm.
And so, yeah.
It's very close to
employees-
So if the employees are tracking kind of their overall compensation,
Mhm.
if they get a COLA, they're paying taxes on that. If you say, we want to keep you whole with your insurance, they're not saving you more out of pocket, so they're actually better off with a lower COLA than staying firm with the insurance,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we know insurance is gonna go up.
Mhm.
Very likely.
Do people have thoughts on percentages?
And we don't have to decide budget tonight. This is preliminary, but
Discussion item.
definitely, yeah. Something we would love to see that. Because Sean and I have talked about it exhaustively. And then we do it again.
Well, just looking at CPI and trying to see what the optics are from people looking in and saying, oh, we're gonna get 4%, and they're holding on to their same insurance and whatnot. It seems like 4% when consumer price index is around 2.6 or 2.7.
Yeah.
So my initial gut is 3%, and let's try to hold them firm
That's
with
my
insurance.
initial gut too, is,
That's definitely something we can look at.
And you said hold firm with insurance, so we're at status quo, which is we don't have an increase in insurance in here.
Robbie, what do you think?
Give it all to this one.
So the other thing that I always like to look at, and Shauna, did you do it in them? You did, right?
I did, but you have,
I'm looking at the wrong one.
Nice to have the insurance dollars.
That, so on the second page, the ending fund balance, you can kind of look at the difference those steps make in the ending fund balance. Which that's kind of where I go first. How much of a difference does it really make for us overall?
it's the third grade highlighted.
Mhm.
So just something to think about, because I am 3% too, I just.
and how do the teachers in Flensburg, do they want you to do it more like standardized so that they, I would,
They want
So that I-
CSAT program for sure. They brought it up a few times. Some of them didn't even know we didn't have one.
Yeah.
And so it was,
gives you something to kind of hang your hat.
yeah, kind of hang your hat
Yeah.
on and something to kind of visualize for the future.
We'd like to be able to give them that.
I'll tell you, when I retired and I had to like pay for my own insurance until I was floored how much I had to pay per month for insurance.
It's one of the things that got me back into public ed, right, because I had left. And private insurance was insane.
It's not,
I mean, it was better for me to take a lower paying job and have the insurance covered.
Yeah, I did it.
So I'm sorry if I'm tracking, so I mean, you give us our financials, and currently our carryover ending fund balance is 907,000, right? And so when you throw an ending fund balance of 3,
That's with a $500,000 beginning fund balance, which is how we always start the school year, which we talked about that last year. It's usually more than that, but we always, on the budget, we always say our fund balance to begin the year with is 500,000. And so, that's just how we've always done it. I don't know, like I could plug in last year's numbers, but that doesn't help us for the year that we're trying to anticipate.
It looks to me like the percentage goes up, it's about $6,000 roughly.
And we have how many teachers? 4.
And then a full-time counselor.
And how long's the school been in place?
21 years, I believe.
Do you have anybody approaching that higher mark of being here? Who's been here the longest is one of the
Nicole, and so she will reach that 15, if we do that 15-year top step before you max out, this would be her.
What is she,
15th year.
what does she teach?
She's special ed.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
We did have a decrease in repairs and maintenance because we're done with our remodel, so it dropped back down to 30,000, so it's about $50,000 range, which was nice. Another thing to note is typically in the past, our curriculum budget has been in the $40,000 range or more. But because we went with Edmonton, it was $46,000 for 2 years. And so we're saving quite a bit of money. Now this is our second year of our contract, so we'll have to talk with Edmonton again after we've gotten teacher feedback to decide if we're still continuing with that. What's another 2-year contract look like? But that did save a significant amount of money by going to Edmonton, which wasn't our driving force. We didn't realize that when we were talking to them. So that was kind of a fun notice.
And you guys like it better than everybody likes it.
It's got its pros and cons, as with everything. It's got a lot of pros over Edgenuity, but then it's a little cumbersome and clunky
I got
for
you.
kids to use, and so we're not thrilled with that. There's not a whole lot out there either.
Right.
So
Right.
we're gonna be looking at, the new interim assessments that are required by the state. We already do interim assessments. The ones we do is not approved by the state. So that will be a little bit of an increase in budget because we don't have a choice, to switch. And so that'll play a role in Edmonton too, if the interim assessments work directly with and integrate with the curriculum. That's a benefit.
Makes sense.
I'm surprised there's not something that's not clunky, that's more engaging with everything that's
This
out
is,
there.
Edmonton is more engaging than Edgenuity, for
Okay.
sure, but it is cumbersome for kids to use.
So we did get our estimated state school fund money will be $11,500 is the estimate. So that's what I plugged in. And we still based it off of a 70 kid average. So we're at 91 or 92 kids right now. We always estimate kind of low. So just to be on the cautious side.
Yeah, smart.
I did hear a rumor that Junction City is talking about closing their online program.
Oh, really?
Their budget conversations, so that could have an impact on us if that happens too.
Yeah, we have a handful of Junction City students, I think 3 this year on average.
Sorry, my memory does not serve me like I'd like to, but when we go to approve the budget, do we get a budget sheet that shows what this year's current budget was and then the proposed budget right next to it? I mean, at this point, we have to kind of look back, what was that line item last year, what was it?
I'm happy to do that for you. We've never done it, but I'm just kind of
Just
following what
deal
we've
with
always
Sarah?
done.
No, we just looked at them side by side,
Yeah,
kind of like this is last year's, and
gotcha.
but I do like, it would be kind of
Yeah,
nice
it
to
would
see
be
them
easy enough
side by
to do. I
side.
just copy and paste the cells.
Yeah, and I, I think once we agree on what that step in the COLA, that's fine, but to plug in previous years' budget, so it's like, oh, well, why did that number change so much? It's hard to look
Yeah.
at it now and go, what's the deviation?
I mean, I could go through any notes on everything that increased if you want. Some of it's just like using fees, things are going up, so I raised one category $500, one category $300.
Right.
Nicole has a life skills program she's doing that we talked about before past meetings, and so we increased our student incentive budget program just a little bit to accommodate her taking kids out and doing those things, so.
And those aren't just sped kids, she does
Right,
it
she's
for
full
all,
of it,
so
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Love it.
We've got, rent, last year, our rent was $40,080, this next year will be $41,100. We're in a contract with them, so every year it goes up a little bit, so it's budgeted at $42,000. Some of the stuff like electricity, I just gave us an additional $500, so it's gonna go up too.
Yeah.
Again, we're estimating, we had our surety bond for UI subject wage went up a little bit this year, so, I didn't know it was going up. So I increased our property insurance budget to accommodate that. Just a little bit, it went like, remember, $400.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. We had a little bit of a,
Then how do you determine what kind of number you're gonna plug in for like the health insurance?
well, this is what we're contributing, right? So for insurance, that's what we contribute towards the employee's insurance. Those
And then if it goes
numbers.
up above that, it's out of pocket to them.
So those are pretty solid numbers for insurance. PERS is probably gonna go up next year,
Yours is supposed to go up.
but we're on a two, so 2025, 2026, 26, 27 is supposed to stay the same, and then it's supposed to go up, so my PERS number should be good for this year, but next year will be changing.
Okay,
It's a crapshoot.
Sure is.
It sure is.
Yeah, that 11.5 per student is.
We did get an
Not
estimate
set
for our
either.
high school
Right.
success fund, so I got it skinned down to the penny, hopefully. But it's going up to 74, 820. And I got it skinned down to 74, 807, which will figure that remaining in there, but just for the sake of the budget. It went up $3,200 this year. Estimated, because I don't think it's set. in stone.
And that grant is what pays
CJ's salary.
the counselor salary.
so to, the final approval of the budget will be May meeting, June meeting?
May or June, I usually like to try to wait till June just because there's so many unknowns and things that could change. It has to
Historically-
be done in June.
Historically, we've done it in May,
Oh, have we?
yes. We've,
Which we can't.
because we present the employees' contracts before they leave ideally. And so if we get it approved in May, then they have time to look over their contract and sign it before they leave for the summer.
Is there general consensus about what direction we want to direct staff on this when it comes to COLA? Or just touch on that earlier? Or
Well, I thought we all kind of nodded and agreed on the 3%.
that's a nod, Robbie?
JR, any input?
He's on mute. You said him on mute.
You could have been talking the whole time.
I know.
That all sounds good.
Okay.
Sounded
All right, thanks for your feedback.
On your steps, if we're gonna increase them every year to the next step, are we gonna have something written in as long as it's a successful annual review?
We just,
Like a lot of contracts have, you go to the next step. Boring.
Well, but like in typical, the union contracts with teachers, that is not, you just automatically get that step. It isn't based off of your review. Not to say that we couldn't.
unless they're gonna terminate.
Yeah, unless they're being terminated, they get that step, even if they're on a plan of assistance.
Wow, that's shocking.
But we
all
can,
the
because
time.
we're not union.
And the only reason I say that is because all the contracts, I've helped negotiate all the contracts I've been in law enforcement, that side, there's always a standard to get your, step increase.
Yeah, and we are not union, and so that is definitely something that we could consider.
You know, yeah, and you're right, it's not union or anything like that, that's just one thing that I was thinking about, just kind of, you know, I totally appreciate guarantees, but I also appreciate, standards.
Yes.
But if it's one of the things, stipulations is if it's a year-by-year contract, is it?
That's true.
And it's not a union, it would be fairly easy to terminate.
Yes.
rather
Yeah.
than-
Yes.
That is true, that's very true.
Because you don't sign any contracts over 1 year? Everybody's 1 year?
Except for mine,
Gotcha.
which is also
Yeah.
something we could change, but that's how it's
Yeah.
always been, doesn't mean that how it's.
So you could say that this is not a, more eloquently than I'm gonna say it, I'm sure, not a fit. These are the things we were concerned about, and you could let that person go.
Yeah, and we have checked with like legal about that, and we are absolutely within our rights to do that.
And you could hire someone else into that position, okay?
Okay,
Good comments, JR, thank you.
that's the only thing I had.
Okay. Well, we're still in a work session. We chatted through the 2027 budget. So let's turn our attention to the board and director's goals. I think it's the same as last year, right?
It's pretty similar, a little bit,
Was this in our stuff that was sent out to us?
I believe, did you send it out to me? 'Cause I-
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 It was?
Um,
Okay.
there was a lot of stuff.
There was quite a few attachments.
Yeah.
I thought I went through all 11 of them. but I obviously
There was
not.
11.
Several years ago, when we had the work session with Kristen Miles, we talked about making the board goals for 2 to 3 years, so you aren't doing new ones every year.
Oh,
This
thank you,
was,
thank you.
this was the year to redo them.
Oh.
But they're very similar, and they're directly based off of my director goals. So it's basically, you're holding me accountable for the goals that I said. They're very much aligned. So student success and completion, the data, I would say I used a little bit of AI to help with the, how do you measure? And sometimes it's really hard to measure outcomes, so I got some input on, give me measurable outcomes. How can we measure what we're trying to go? I know what the goal is, but how can I show you what we're getting? So there's some real good indicators here of what I can do and put together and bring to the board. I believe it says 4 times a year, showing the progress that we're making.
Sounds good.
And the reduction in chronic absenteeism, if someone signed in or not, that's what you consider absenteeism, is that correct?
That's a state standard. They
It's,
said,
they set that.
they said this.
And that is also, my goals are directly based off of what the state is saying. It's in the new Senate Bill 141 Accountability Act, but it's also been the state goals forever. And chronic absenteeism is one of them. They want kids to be regular attenders, not miss more than 10% of their school days. So for us, are they logging in, doing work, and communicating with a teacher every day? Not very well. So it's absolutely a goal for us.
But that's a tough goal for at-risk youth.
Yeah, very difficult. But it needs to be a goal. I mean,
Yeah,
it
sure.
needs to be something that we're always talking about. And we are, every week, we talk about it.
So if Junction City shuts down their online and we start regularly bumping up against that 120 cap, and we have some students that are just not, I mean, you get them at 20 or 25%, of attendance.
We can't drop a kid unless they are 10 days of consecutive not attending.
It's gotta be consecutive too.
Yeah, so we can't just say, oh, you don't come enough, we're gonna drop you and give this
We don't see you
spot to
put in the
somebody else.
effort. Yeah.
We can't do that, so. But we often drop kids at 10 days and they'll figure out a week or two later that, what, I can't log in, what happened? Oops, so then they re-enroll. And if we were up at that cap, sorry, you're gonna have to wait for an opening.
So and the 10-day rule comes from the state?
Yeah.
So I see where that works probably really well for a regular school, but has the charter school associations talked about to look at that differently?
We don't have any control over that.
There's so many
State
things
and
I-
statute.
Don't apply to charter schools.
Yes.
That's not fair.
Charter schools used to take, virtual charter schools used to take attendance differently, and it was twice a week. And that counted for 5 days present if they worked twice a week, because it's supposed to be flexible. You could do a whole lot of work in 2 days a week. During COVID, that changed to every 5 days. It's been fought hard, but the state won't change it back, as of now at least, so. I think at 2 days a week, our attendance would look a whole lot better. Would kids complete any more work? Probably not. I mean, they're completing what they're gonna complete, so it would still be a goal because we want them to graduate, so
Mhm.
attendance and graduation go hand in hand.
Well, I apologize, I didn't look at this beforehand.
And we can just talk about it tonight and approve it next month. It doesn't, they don't have to be approved at once.
Any other comments?
They seem, very reasonable to me.
I wish, for staff's sake, that we were a more proactive board and that we had our own goals and we're out there, doing whatever. But if it's best structured, to try to hold you accountable to
And
your
you
goals.
can completely do whatever goals you want to do. I was making it simple for you, but you are welcome to add to or take away.
So, if you can go to second eyes on these before next meeting,
That'd be great.
and then have
Yeah.
an adoption at that time.
Sounds good.
You with us on that one, JR?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you much. All right, unless staff have any other comments, then we can conclude the work session at 6:10 and go into the regular session. Seeing no public in attendance, we will skip over public comment. We will move right into the administrative reports. The standard when it comes to our minutes, financial and enrollment reports. Shuffle some paperwork around here. I did read the minutes, I was not in attendance, so maybe if anybody else has any comments or a board member that was in attendance, we'll look for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
First, have a second from Robbie, so the minutes of Wednesday, February 18th have been approved. Oh, and here, a vote from the board, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, JR, for your unanimous support. Yeah, okay, good. So we have an approval of the February 18th. Minutes. Moving on to the financials.
I think we can actually vote on all administrative reports at the same time.
Sure.
There wasn't anything glaring. Just standard financials. EDM, we're at 94 at the end of February, but we're down to 91 or 92 right now. Attendance is a little lower than we'd like to see. 1% in February. And so on the back of the purple page, you'll see the breakout by school. If you're interested in that at all. Been pretty steady at a lot of these schools.
So any thoughts around why the things softened up with our numbers in February?
With just the enrollment,
Right.
kids not attending, Sunday drops. is
Really,
why
I'll see
those
actually.
numbers have
And-
gone down. Yeah, and now I know we got one today that we'll be putting in, they came and filled out paperwork, so.
And making it a little bit harder for them by requiring them to come to a full day of school, I think has
Yeah.
maybe deterred a few kids to re-enroll. Kids that don't plan on coming and working anyways, and getting 10-day dropped. So I can think of 2 students that they didn't re-enroll because we told them they had to come in and work one day in the classroom.
But that's a new thing we are trying because what they were doing wasn't working, so we want them to come in, sit down with us,
That makes sense to
make
me.
sure we see you logging in and we know how to use our program. It's one day.
One day a week or what?
Just one day.
Just one
Just
day.
one day.
To re-enroll.
It's real hard to require them to come in more than that if they're not local, because we would have to transport.
The transportation issue's gotta be huge.
But if they have to come in anyways, then it works out.
All right, so, Donna has presented, check listing, general fund, comparison report, the month to date to year to date, and then the ADM. So I will entertain a motion to approve the remainder of the financials and the enrollment report. Right here first.
What was that? Approving the rest.
Yeah, did you make a
I didn't
motion?
say anything.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll
B and
second.
C.
We have a First and second, everyone in favor? Say aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
All right. Okay, let's go into old business and second reading.
So I would like to propose that we table this for now. We've gotten quite a bit of pushback on this policy. And so I am trying to do some more research, hitting a whole lot of brick walls of people who won't get back to me. But I don't think it will be highly supported. I know it won't be highly supported at the district and possibly not at the state level. And so I don't want to put a policy.
I didn't make
that's gonna-
copies for her
Oh, okay.
because she planned on it, but if you guys would like to see it, I emailed
It's
it, but
Awarding
it's.
credit for GED
Right.
proficiency
Right.
type thing.
Right.
And so we're trying to see what other schools are doing that have GED programs. They don't want to tell me. The state,
Why is that?
I don't know. It's frustrating. And the state absolutely will not give a concrete answer. It's up to you, but you probably don't want to do it that way.
Thank you.
Now, don't
very
you tell
much.
me which way I want it. I'm asking, but so, we've talked at length about it and it's something I don't ever see being an issue anyway. And so I don't see rocking the boat and pushing back so hard for something that it's not gonna happen. These are for kids who get a GED if they want to come back and re-enroll to get a standard diploma. How many credits do they get for passing those GED tests?
Right.
These kids don't want to come back and care. And so I don't see it ever being an issue, which goes to why would I fight real hard for it? But then again, why would I fight? It's really not an issue.
So what spurred
It's
you on to think about it in the first place then?
because we have to put something on transcript. Because by statute, if we have a GED program, they have to be earning credits towards a standard diploma at the same time. so how many credits do we give them? And so we got in this, like, our thought was if you passed the GED English test, that's equivalent to high school, so you get 4 credits, because that's what that is, but not everybody agrees with that.
Well, so on one hand, you're required to put something on the transcripts, but there's no clarity.
None. And I have asked and asked and asked. And the state says they're talking about it, but they've really held back in the past from going any direction with it. What they say in Division 22 standards is awarding credits for proficiency is up to the district and be creative.
If you had a one-on-one with Gary,
Gary does not agree with it at all.
even though it's laid out.
Yeah.
you need to-
No, he does not agree with it. He also has said he's not the expert in it, and so he's not going to give a recommendation one way or the other. I'm not the expert in it either, so I'm trying to learn. I wish some other schools that have been doing this for a long time would get back to me, but they won't. They haven't. I'm not gonna quit trying. We have really till June before transcripts are finalized for the year that we need to really have something set in stone. So I don't want it to drag out forever, but, and I want a policy. I want it to be the same, no matter what, every time for every kid, because it should be.
Right.
Equivalency is equivalency.
What about Lane?
They're not
Well, when
awarding high
they-
school diplomas, so they're not
But they do GED, and so nothing they do is, a kid can say,
so they aren't getting any high school credit for it. Kids have to pay to go to Lane to do it. It's free here and we're getting paid for those kids to be here, so they have to be earning credits towards a regular diploma too. So my recommendation is we put that on hold right now while we gather
I
more
agree.
information because it's not.
You guys do have your own like charter school association, right?
We do.
And you have a couple meetings a year where you all,
We meet once a month.
then you bring it up and nobody wants to talk about it.
Nobody will say what they're doing, and very few charter schools have the GED program. A lot of districts do. But no, I've reached out and sent emails and no one's gotten back to me.
So what are we doing until now? If we're required to put something on the transcript?
We've just been given a half a credit for the semester-long class, which doesn't feel right, but we could continue that.
So it's a half a credit, not half of what they would have gotten. if they
Right.
got it.
Which is more where I'm leaning, is half of what they would have
Why
gotten.
would people be pushed back on that?
I don't
the half a credit, that's not where the pushback is.
No, I
No,
mean,
the pushback, and they may not push back on that.
I mean, if it's
Yeah,
4 credits in regular school, if you gave them 2,
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, I think, where we're sitting now, but we were really hoping to see what other schools did. Just to get a base. I don't know why the state can't just make it a standard thing across the board.
That seems like that would make the most sense.
It doesn't seem that hard, but I don't want to be, this is what we're gonna do, because I don't know. I'm not an expert on it either. This is new to us, and we just want to do it the right way for all kids.
but we also have to, is that something that the district has to approve?
The district doesn't have to approve,
Okay.
no. But I wanted Gary to be aware of what
Sure,
we're
yeah,
doing.
we know that.
Yeah.
Done a nice job of smoothing the feathers after all these years.
And he was great in his reply back, and he checked with the state, and he did a bunch of research on his end too, and just got us thinking, okay, maybe we need to slow down a little bit.
Because what would Elmira High School do if they had a kid walk in who was 16 years old with a GED? How would they, how would they interpret that?
Right, well, they look at that transcript and see that this kid's met all of the core requirements.
Right, so
Because
would they
we've
give
awarded
them-
credit. You shouldn't get to take credit away from,
Right?
if I see a transcript, I give them what the last school gave them. I don't get to decide.
Yeah,
But his concern was, no, we don't think that's right, and we wouldn't
Gotcha.
want to give them all that credit. they would still need their electives and their fine arts
Right.
and the government and all the other requirements of
Yeah.
the four core subjects.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So they would still
it's,
have to earn credits.
yes, it wouldn't by any means guarantee them, oh, you automatically get your diploma too.
Right.
There's still, I think, 12 credits that you still.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, I know there's some like homeschool kids who
Mhm.
will take a GED.
Yeah.
Pass it at 16 and they're like, I haven't had that high school experience. I want to go take some
And
classes.
so they would come in though with 0 credit.
Okay,
If they're homeschooled, they have 0 high school credits. So
unless
you're-
they take a GED,
Even with a GED.
even if they take a GED. Gotcha, okay. Interesting.
So what would be Gary's big pushback on why you would want to see these credit provisions?
I think just because it just wipes out them having to do any core classes. Basically, they would never have to take a high school English class if they could pass the GED in English. Well, the state says you need 4 years of English to graduate. And we just gave them 4 years because they passed a test. He's saying that's not, and the state is sort of agreeing with the fact that that's not accurate. I would argue if you say it's equivalent, then it is accurate. But,
Because like you're saying, they would still need 12 credits
sure,
to
you
graduate
still
high
need
school.
all those other
Even if they
PE,
granted
health,
those.
all the other stuff that goes along with it.
And that's almost 2 years.
Yeah.
That half a credit a semester,
Mhm.
that's almost 2 years.
But any kid, also, the flip side of that, any kid that is in our GED program is already a full year behind their
Right.
graduating cohort. They have to be.
That's the requirement, right?
That's, yeah. So they're already at 19 or more by the time they get their GED.
So they're not looking to. go
They're not
back.
looking to come back.
I bet, my read on this is, I bet the fear is that you would get some kids that are smart with the system.
Mhm.
They'd go get their GED and then go finish up the remaining 12 credits, and you'd have a bunch of graduating early kids.
And I-
That is what I think.
And I think that is a potential thing that could eventually get figured out,
Yeah, someone would have to figure that out besides me.
which is not our goal. That's not what we want. That's not the point of the GED program, so.
But our kids, I think, are safe from doing that, but it's an interesting argument because it says you just finished high school English by getting that GED, but then making them jump through yet another hoop.
Yeah.
Seems kind of
I mean,
unnecessary.
the way we wrote it seems very logical. It makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know that it's worth the fight
Going to the mat.
for
on
a
this.
kid that's never gonna care anyway.
I think it'd be interesting to see what's if you could get someone
Yes.
to like.
I'm not
produce
giving
it.
up. Somebody's gonna tell me what they're doing. I'd like to at least know what one other school.
Sure, yeah, makes sense.
Well, knowing that you guys are hands full with a lot of things, I decided to postpone this.
Yeah.
And your discretion to determine how much time and energy you really want to put into it.
And then I will bring it back to the board, probably for another first reading, because it will probably get.
Because it is a situation that will be a unique anomaly. It's
Yeah.
isn't gonna be something that happens all the time.
Yeah.
So,
The only time I could ever see it even being an issue is if for some reason a kid wanted a job or something that said GED won't work.
Right.
But I don't know of a situation where
There's no
that's the case.
situation like that right now.
No, there isn't.
There
So
isn't.
there's just no other reason why a kid would want to come back and do that once they
Right.
pass their GED.
Sure, yeah, well, I,
GED gets you all of the things that you could possibly want to do.
Yeah.
There's no benefit to them coming back, so.
particularly when you look at it, if they came through here and they had to be a year behind in their cohort.
Right.
I mean, those kids are gonna be
Mhm.
17, 18, 19. They-
And that's a state guideline too, so
Yeah.
there's no wiggle room there. You
Yeah.
are a full year
Yeah.
behind.
So most of our policies, we get an example.
Right,
And you never
and this
must
is
get it.
not an OSBA.
So I'm.
But when it has to do with awarding credits, then the recommendation is the board approve it, because you approve
I see.
our graduation and all
So
of
either
that.
if we
So
stay with the half a credit or split the
whatever,
baby
it
into two
should be
credits.
something that is board approved.
Okay.
So that's on hold.
Okay. All right, so the second reading of this particular policy has been officially put on hold until we get back from Darcy Moore on this. So we will move into new business and an open board position. I assume that that's been appropriately advertised.
Yep.
And
It's
so-
on our website. We have the application process on our website that anybody can view, and we had one applicant.
And so this was open as of when?
This has been open
Since,
Continuously.
continuously.
It's always open.
Mhm.
Oh.
Because in our bylaws, it says that
The
we
link
can
is
have
always
up
there.
to,
We can have up to
7.
7 in the bylaws, it says, so it
So we
is
always
just.
have an open board position on our board.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I should like shut up because I'm up next.
Yeah, you're next.
and we have an application, there was one submitted, and it's up to the board to.
It's for Ryan Jr.
Yes,
Yes.
the famous Ryan.
Thank you. And so, open for any deliberation or a motion to go ahead and approve Ryan's application to, but has his term expired?
It will at the end of this month.
Okay.
So he can't vote for himself, but he can still be part
Go
of
ahead
it.
and try, buddy.
We have a quorum without him, so we should be able to have this.
Then I'll stay on this current thought that any deliberation or a motion to go ahead and approve Mr. Chambers' application to the West Lane Charter School Board.
Okay, I make a motion to approve this board application.
I second.
You have a second. Jackie, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, all right. Okay, we have opposed.
Congratulations, Ryan.
Thank you very much.
There you
Welcome
go,
back.
Ryan. We're
He never left, but he's.
He
We
didn't.
were missing you, man.
All right, and then we'll move on to new business number B, resolution 2526 -01. It's the contract extensions, which is also
Yep.
the board packets, but
It's not the board packets because they're just signature pages.
they were in the materials.
They were in the material that we sent. There's one for the majority of the staff for the 1 year, which is Andrea, CJ, Jenny, Joshua, Kelly, Nicole, myself, and Tony, and then one for Darcy.
Okay, so I will entertain two separate motions.
I have a
Oh,
question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So when I was reading that, it said 26, 27, so are people not, they don't have a contract right now?
They do, so
They
they have a
That
contract.
maybe I misread
Set
that.
to expire at the end of the 25-26 school year, and employment contracts to be issued to individuals for the 26-27 school year. So the current contracts they have are set to expire at the end of this year,
Okay.
which is June 2026, and then we're wanting to renew them for the 26-27 school
Okay,
year.
gotcha. Go ahead.
Ready to entertain a motion?
I make a motion that we approve this signature, do you say signature page or?
Just read what it said on the agenda, resolution 25-2601 staff contract extension.
25-2601 staff contract extensions. And resolution 25-02 staff contract extensions.
We have a motion for the two staff resolutions. Is that okay that they're done lumped together? Why don't we do them separately?
Let's do them separately.
Let's do them separately. If you could modify that.
Do you want me to read the whole thing again?
Yeah.
Resolution 25-2601 staff contract extension. I make a motion that we approve that.
I'll second.
And we have a second from Robbie. All those in favor say aye.
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 Great. Motion passes unanimously. And if I can entertain a motion for the second staff contract extension.
For 25-02 staff contract extension, I make a motion that we approve that also.
Great. Do I hear a second?
Second.
I have one from Ryan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion also passes unanimously. Thank you for bringing us over. Did we get everything you needed?
Yes.
And then we can go on to the director's report.
I was curious how that meeting went. You did a presentation last month.
It went really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went really well. Thank you for being my board. Yeah, it went well.
Did we have any board members that supported you?
No, but that was fine. Shauna came, she was my cheerleader.
She's your Rob.
They have, 3 new board members that haven't been on the board in the past. So there was questions and just people that didn't necessarily know as much about us. So yeah, it went well.
I apologize.
Does it count that I've been to a lot of those board
Yes,
meetings?
it does. I used to get very nervous about them, but no, they're not bad.
Okay, so we'll listen to your report.
All right, I am preparing to start state testing for our juniors. Not sure why, juniors is our biggest class every single year, so that's a lot of kids to prepare for testing. Most of them opt out. If I can track them down, they opt out, but, so we're gonna start testing mid-April and then hopefully finish by the 1st of May. Probably trickle a little longer than that, but we have till June, so that's okay.
And in the past, how many? know it's a
I
great
think last year we had 4 kids test.
You know, that's gotta be a tough one for them because they're not gonna be good test takers to begin with in an alternative
You know
school.
what's funny is the ones that tested the last 2 years are very high achievers that are graduating on time or maybe a half a year early and wanting to go on to college. So they want the experience of taking tests.
Wow.
So they've done real well, which it surprises me that they want to, but we looked really good in our test scores last year.
Cool.
The kids that did take it did great.
Nice.
We just finished our mid-year conferences, so 55 in-person conferences, 15 families didn't schedule. So we didn't do conferences for all 95 kids because some of them hadn't been here very long and it just didn't make sense to do a conference yet. But for the 70 or so that we tried, 55 showed up. And the ones that didn't, we mailed it all home with all the relevant information. So they still got all that information. And if they had questions, they could call. They haven't yet, but maybe they will. And then I would talk about earlier, we are demoing some of the state-approved interim assessments. One we've used in the past, so we know what it looks like, but we're looking at a new one on Wednesday that works and integrates with our curriculum. So see, we really like the one we're using this year, that it is from the curriculum. It's unfortunate that we can't use it. We're seeing a lot of growth on it, and that is a report I will have for the board in June to show the growth we've had from the beginning of the year. The one we're doing right now is really nice because kids can do it virtually. And we don't get a lot of turnout if they have to come in and do it 3 times a year. They don't want to, so. But we have to do it, and it has to be one of the state-approved assessments, so hopefully we will land on one that we feel good about, not just doing it because we have to do it. That's kind of where we are, and it doesn't look like a lot, but we're just really busy around here.
I bet.
Really busier.
And it gets busier when you come back
Yeah.
from spring break, right?
Yes, it does.
It's just,
And we start talking about graduation and all the things.
yep,
This is such a busy time of year for you guys, right after spring break.
Yeah.
It's
it goes, I mean, it's so
just
fast.
fast.
I will say, I just realized it did not get put on the agenda, so my suggestion, I guess, would be next month, but my evaluation has not been presented publicly, so that needs to happen.
No.
I am fine with that happening next month.
Okay.
It's up to you all, but
Isn't there some kind of thing that it has to happen by April? Some bylaw or something?
I believe if you're under contract,
Okay,
we're not a union, so
Okay.
I think we're fine.
okay.
You just renewed me. Don't know if that matters.
How'd that vote go? Was that when you?
I know that you have met twice in executive session and discussed it, but it hasn't been presented,
I'm so sorry. I have that on mute. For some reason, it's not.
So if you're okay with it, I'm fine with it being presented next.
To be quite honest, I think there's been a draft evaluation that's been floated around to all board members. And little comments I did see that I felt like kind of nailed it. So I think it's ready to get presented.
And that, I'm fine with that.
And one of our missing, JR, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt. Was he saying something?
JR?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
What,
Okay.
I was just agreeing with what Rick just said. It's been passed around, and as expected, she knows.
Thank you.
We're lucky to have somebody deeply involved with HR that will pull all of our crazy comments together and make it look like something that you want to professionally present. So yeah, if JR's in concurrence, I think we definitely want to have that on the agenda for the next meeting. I don't know if that's done in executive session or
We can do it in open session.
open session's fine with you? Okay.
Perfect.
Sounds good. And,
You know, that's interesting because on the other board that I was on, we always had to do Gary's in executive session.
I could choose that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, if a bunch of your staff wanted to sit in, we had parents there that night.
Yeah,
Something.
And that's fine. I'm okay with that. I would want Sarah input if they had it, so.
But it's also, the board could choose to only do it in executive session, or is that your call?
I believe it's the employee's call. But if, I mean, I don't agree one way or the other, I really don't. I did.
But you know that it's not gonna be, you're not needing to go into executive session to try to make course corrections. You would say that you're doing a bad job by any means. But- All right, so we'll plan on having that on next month's agenda, for Darcy's evaluation in open session. Please come prepared next meeting to talk about the board and director's goals. So we can approve those. That normally happen also in April. Like a good time, evaluation, board and director's goals, get that stuff out of the way, and go on to other things. Is there any other?
Thanks for the hard work you guys do. You
Yeah,
do a
nice.
nice job, both of you. I'm very impressed.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I second.
You have it first.
Oh, sorry, I first.
Heard a second from JR?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you make a motion?
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously.
Yay.
And yes, thank you, Sal.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay.